What's going on, YouTube family? T.O. here with Simplistic Fishing. Hey, tonight, coming back at you on the Lake Fork breakdowns. This time we're going offshore for Zone 1. So that's going to be the big caney arm, pretty much that whole arm on the southeast side. We're going to go through, we're going to uncover the hot spots. And as always, I'll put these out there on simplisticfish.square.site. If you want to get those cards, you can purchase them out there and put all this good stuff on your graph. So without further ado, let's get rolling. Here we go. Let's jump into Zone 1 for Lake Fork. So if you watched any of the Google Earth waypoints videos so far, you'll notice that I had Zone 1 being down here on this part of the lake. So let me zoom out for you real quick, kind of show you guys where I'm at. So basically this whole entire arm is what we're going to cover tonight. And then we'll have more information for Lake Fork in upcoming videos. Zone 2 is going to be more of this little caney arm here and up this bank line up to pretty much 515. And then up above there, we'll break that down into zones 3 and zone 4. We'll come down to about that point for zones 3 and zone 4. And then we'll break it down for the final video for zone 5. So for tonight, we're just talking about zone 1. So I'm going to start right here on the corner of the dam. And we're just going to kind of work our way up. And what we're looking for really is just any type of offshore hot spots or anything that looks like it could be a good area to fish around. So the first thing that I noticed when I came down here, obviously, you know, there's a lot of different contour lines and things like that going on, but there's a nice little flat point right here, Main Lake Point, kind of, you know, hidden. It's not as obvious, but it's got a nice top on it, about 9 to 10 feet. And then it's got some really good breaks that go off the side of it, all the way down to about 28 feet. So you've got a real good break here with a nice shallow top. So that would be a good area to take a look at. You've also got a channel over here that kind of goes into where an old pond dam was, so it might be worth taking a look at that as well. And then moving up here, again, you've got the same type thing, a nice little point that comes out. Top of this point's probably about 12 feet or so. And then moving over here, you know, you can see you get some pretty good drop-offs all the way out to about 29 feet. So again, another really good Main Lake point to take a look at. Moving in here, got some pretty decent breaks and things. I don't know if I'd spend too much time working that, but again, I would definitely want to work this point. It looks like it has some pretty good breaks right here off the side of it, and I do like the fact that it's a Main Lake point. And from Google Earth, it just looks like it had a little bit shallower top to it, maybe than what Navionics was saying. So it might be worth going over there and just checking out. So I'm going to keep moving up the bank line here. Obviously, this area right in here would be a good area to take a look at just because it's got the creek channel that goes back in here, but I didn't see anything from a contour perspective really that stood out to me. I mean, the main thing would be right here where you see this fish mark. There could be a spot there where the creek channel actually bounces up against that, and that can make it a pretty good hot spot. But I didn't mark anything there just because I didn't see anything significant enough to to make it worthy of a waypoint. Now, coming over here off these 2 points, you've got kind of a little island. The water comes up a little bit here, and then that island exposes itself again. I really like this area. These are always good fish attracting spots, and I really like the outside edge out here. So I would spend a lot of time out here where you see that orange fish marker. And again, I'll have these out there on our site as well, so you'll be able to see all the offshore hotspots as well as the Google waypoints when you get those cards. So then moving on here past these islands, kind of like this little point here, it's got a little bit of a sharp drop. You can see here 6 to 12 feet pretty quickly, so it might be worth taking a look at there. I didn't mark that one because it didn't look enough, but I do like this right here. So if you look right here, we've got a really sharp drop right here, basically 6 to 12 feet, 18 feet, and then you got a nice little top right here that's on this little point of about 8 to 9 feet. So I like this little drop off here if it really is there, and I really like that top of that point, how it's 8 to 9 feet and it stays pretty flat pretty consistently. So then kind of moving up here, you know, Fork's got all kinds of great points to look at. So I'd be lying if I said don't check every single one of them. So you might want to check every one of them, but I'm just pointing out the ones that would appear to me to be better points to take a look at. Now moving back here into this cove, I do like the fact you got a nice creek channel that runs down. And the main thing here is right here where you see this fish marker that I have. It looks like the creek channel probably comes up and hits this bank line and bounces back off of it or gets close to that bank line because you've got a pretty sharp drop right there by that marker. So I'd definitely go there and scan around. That could be a really nice staging spot for those fish before they go back and do their spawning in the back of those coves, or when they're coming out post spawn. So definitely want to look in that area for sure. Moving around here, these coves, didn't see too much, but again, you got a real nice point here with a nice flat top on top of it with a shallower top. So definitely take a look at that. And then moving over here, you kind of got the same exact thing. You've got that shallow top on that point. Let me zoom in here so you guys can see this a little better. You've got that shallow part on that point. Those are very shallow tops. So those would always be great areas. You've got main lake access on both sides, and you've even got some shallow stuff that you could come back here and fish as well. So all kinds of good stuff going on around that point. And then moving up here, you kind of have the same thing again. We're looking at points. This one here looks pretty good as well. You got a nice shallow top, nice shallow cover and stuff like that, vegetation on the very shallowest part, but then moving out to the deeper side, you've got some really good drop-offs, 12 to about 24 feet right in there. So that all looks really, really good. It looks like a good area to take a look at. Now, as we're moving up here, I'm watching this creek channel and seeing if that creek channel comes anywhere close to any one of these points, because if it does, that's probably going to be your hottest point, and it's also going to be an area where you're likely to find brush piles and stuff like that. So if you're looking on here and you're looking at this creek channel, you'll notice it's coming pretty close to this point. Now, I've never actually gone out here and scanned this point, so I don't know for sure, but my guess is you're probably going to find some type of debris out in this area, and this is probably going to be a pretty good point to fish. Number one, because it's got a nice flat top to it. It's a little bit deeper, but it still has a flat top to it. And two, because it has that creek channel that's coming off of it as well. And then, of course, anytime you've fished around me or watched any of my videos, you guys know I love bridges. I think bridges are definitely fish attractors. So anytime you see these bridges, fish around the pillars, fish around pretty much anything you can see that's man-made. And then when you're out there, never be scared to go out here and fish right around those creek channels. So anywhere you see those creek channels coming in, you definitely want to take a look at those. All right, so I'm going to keep moving up here. We're going to go over here and we're going to take a look at this little drop off right in here. It's got a really sharp edge right by the bridge that you can see here. So just go over there and scan that. I could see them staging there. I could also see that being a summer spot where they just hang out because they have access to a lot deeper water there. But they also have that shallow water access, and then they have the shade from the bridge as well, which definitely attracts them. And then if you look over here to the right, there's an underwater roadbed that goes right through here, and there's probably a submerged bridge somewhere in here, probably right in there because it says submerged bridge. So fish those submerged bridges, especially come summertime. Fish spoons down there, things like that, and you should have some success along that area. So I'm going to keep staying here to the right, and we'll work our way back down the left side. I do like these docks. These docks are in some really deep water. This dock here particularly is in about 20 foot of water, 24 foot of water. You just don't find that many docks that are in that deep of water. So anytime you can find a dock that's in that deep of water, I think it's definitely worthy of fishing. So really all three of these docks look pretty interesting. I would definitely fish those. And then when you come down in here by this dock, you kind of have the same thing. This dock's in about 18 foot of water as well, with a nice creek channel coming alongside it too. And then if we move down here and we kind of follow that creek channel, you'll notice here you've got two hot spots that someone's already marked on Navy Onyx, but definitely a good spot to look. You can tell the creek channel bend goes in there. You can see from Navy Onyx the contour lines and how they bend in like that, that's going to be a really good spot to take a look at if you're out there on Fort. All right, so I'm going to keep moving down and go down inside of this pocket down here. The next thing I want to look at is right where I have this fish icon here. And really what this is really just a spot where all three of the creeks, or sorry, you kind of have I guess an intersection there where two of those creeks come into one. So I always like those. There's always, typically those are hot spots. They're good areas to look. And it's typically a good staging area too. They'll kind of set up in that spot and then they'll split off and go their different ways. And just like you see on that point right there, it says check for staging fish. And it's definitely, would make sense that they would be there and they would stage in that area. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and pull out of this pocket and go back up here. You guys are going to laugh at me, but here we are again, kind of fishing off around a point. I did mark this one. This one didn't, it didn't have the flat top or anything like that really caught my eye. But because it was marked as a main lake point, and it is a main lake point, I went ahead and just marked it for you guys because I think it'd be worthy at least going out there and doing some scanning. Then coming up here, you got some pretty good breaks and things like that. You know, you might want to scan along this creek bed. You can go back in here and kind of see if there's anything back in here. But from a contour perspective and from looking to see if it actually hits anything along the bank, I just didn't see anything back in that cove that would make me want to go back there. Now, if I come back up here where this point is, kind of show you guys where I'm at here, come back up here where this point is, we definitely fished that point. In fact, we've fished that point before and had some success there as well. So you can see it's just like what we were talking about earlier. It's got that shallow top to it, 5 to 6 feet, and then it has that major drop into some pretty significant water. And you got a creek channel that's fairly close by. So definitely a good place to look. Coming back in here in the Taylor branch, not seeing too much from a contour perspective that really catches my eye. Maybe right in here because the creek channel might actually hit that bank line or get really close right in there. But other than that, I mean, just take a look at those Google waypoint videos. If there is a creek channel back there, we will have marked it for you. So you can go back there and fish those. And then coming up in here, obviously you'll want to fish the submerged culvert and the roadbed that kind of runs along here as well. They could be anywhere along that roadbed. So just scan the whole roadbed and really pay a lot of attention to that submerged culvert come summertime. That can be a good area to look at. So I'm going to keep moving up the bank line here. A couple people have put a few marks in here, but I didn't see anything too significant to make me want to mark it for you guys. But I did like this right here. This is like a little ledge, and I've actually seen this on my graph too. So it's not a huge ledge. And you guys up north would laugh at us because this ledge, I think, is maybe like 3 feet or something like that. It's not very much, but it's enough to make a drop. And anytime you can get that drop, that's good. And you got a roadbed nearby as well. So take a look at this area. That could be a good area for you as well. And then as we get up in here, just a couple more spots I wanted to show you in this pocket. Didn't see too much going on right in here. There was a little marker here that says there's a roadbed there, but it is there and it makes a little bend, so it might be worth checking out. Not sure. I didn't mark it for you guys, but take a look at it. And then moving on back through here, some pretty good breaks off the bank line right here. So that creek channel could come in and hit it. I'm not sure. And then back in here, you just kind of got a couple different spots where some locals and things that put fishing hot spots, but I don't see anything that really would make me want to go back there except for right here. So you can see where this creek bed comes up and takes a hard turn right there after it gets really close to the bank. So right where I have that fish right there, which is also the place where it'll be marked on the cards, is where I would take a look first, and then maybe just scan around that creek bed and see where you can locate the fish. All right, so moving on up, you got another roadbed that's right out here off of this point. Oops, sorry about that. So take a look right in here, and also take a look right there where that bend is. So right where that plus sign is, somebody's already got it there as a secondary point. But you've kind of got a creek channel bend, you've got a roadbed, and you've got a secondary point. So all those things can add up to be really good things. And then as we move out here, you've got a nice hump that comes out here. It's a nice shallow little point. We take a look at that. And then obviously you want to come out here and take a look at this hump that's out here in the middle of the water. It's the top of it is 12 feet, 8-9 feet. So you got a really nice hump. It shows that there's some gravel and stuff on the top of it as well. So that would definitely be a great area to fish come summertime. And you might want to fish more on this side, this left side, because that creek channel is right there by you. So that place looks fun, man. Looks like you got their Carolina rig and probably just tear it up. All right, so moving on down here, we got another one of those points, shallow top, off to Main Lake. So you got some deeper water there. Whoa, sorry guys. And then moving up here, you got a lot of different fish attracting things that are back here. I would say if there's any culverts or anything like that, check them out. But really just, scan around that creek bed. And I've got that mark for you too. So check out the marking of the creek bed and see what you can find there. And also check out this submerged culvert right here. And what I really like about this too with this submerged culvert is that if you look right here, you've got kind of a hump that's out here right in the middle of the cove. So you've got 6 feet right here. And you got the submerged culvert and everything down to about 12 feet, 12 to 18 feet. So this looks like a really, really good area right in that area. We've also got an additional point here you want to take a look at. And then as we move further back in here, it's going to start getting shallower. So we're not going to be able to mark as many spots. But over in here, I do like this too. Is an old roadbed that comes through here, right? And then you also have a really nice point that comes out right here. So pretty much right where you see that shallow point icon and where you see that fish icon, those would be good places to fish. Obviously around the bridges are a good place to fish. The submerged bridge is a great place as well. Any of those pillars, especially any of the pillars in this area right here, would be a great area to fish if there are any pillars to fish around there. And then moving up here, not too much going along on this banks line. It gets pretty shallow, but I did mark a ton of this stuff for you guys on the Google Earth waypoints. So let's keep moving over. I also marked this on the Google Earth waypoints, but I went ahead and put it out here for offshore too, because you have to get a little bit offshore to fish this, especially on this side. So fish this submerged culvert, fish this roadbed, and really just, scan all around that roadbed. But the main points where they seem to be is near or around this creek channel. And for whatever reason, they relate over here as well. So take a look at both of those. All right, so we're going to keep on moving down. I didn't see too much, in the area up there, to find, but I did like this right here. And it's got a roadbed that's out here. So you can see this roadbed comes off this point here, this underwater point. You got a major creek arm over here. I would come up here and scan this little area right in here. And also maybe even up on top here, this shallow area, and just see if they're up there feeding. That could be a really good place to take a look at. Then I'm going to keep moving down. Another spot I marked for you guys was right here. This is really an old pond dam that's out here. You've heard me talk about old pond dams come summertime. Well, this one's kind of got double bang for your buck. You've got two ponds here in this same area, plus you've got a submerged bridge. So this general area where I have this fish at would be a good area to take a look at. Moving on down, we've got some more points. You've got a really nice little ledge that's right here. You can kind of see it. You've got nice shallow top, 6 foot, and then you got that drop to 12 feet. These are really good things, especially, kind of later spring or mid-spring when they start feeding on all those gizzard shads. All these kind of points that look like this one's not as significant, but you'll see some more down here as we get further south, are really good places to take a look at. Also right in here, notice this really good ledge that's being developed because these two creeks. So you've got this running creek that comes through here. You've got another creek that's coming down through here, and they kind of meet here at an intersection. And you've got a nice break going on right in there. That, again, is another good hot spot to take a look at. And then moving down through here, this point is a totally fun point. You've got kind of a shallow point that comes way out off into the boat lane. But if you come up here, you kind of got another point that's up here, and its top is like 5 to 6 feet. And then it actually breaks down to like 12 feet. Well, right in here would be a good area to take a look at. And then also really getting off at the edge of that point, depending on what time of year it is, might be worth going out there. But I would more look on the tops of this point, and then also right in here where you see these break lines right here. All right, then moving back up here, again, this is a really shallow area, and we covered all of this on the Google Earth Waypoints video. So I'm just going to keep on moving down. You've got the same thing right here. This creek channel is coming along and hits this bank line. This is a great area to look at. And it also says there's rocks here as well. And you guys know me and rocks. If there's rocks, I'm fishing them. So take a look at those. Those would be great areas to fish. And just kind of a little hint here. If you see these little green fish, I was starting at one time to put green fish out there on anytime I caught a fish, I'd put it out there and I'd mark it. So I could try to kind of get an idea of seasons and where I need to be fishing and stuff. And I wish I would have kept it up. I just kind of got lazy and didn't do it. But if you see any green fish as we're going through this, that's guaranteed there's fish there, or there have been fish there, because I've actually physically caught fish there. All right, so moving on down. And the reason why I said this, I like this little pocket. It's shallow. It's got some pads, got some hydraulic, all kinds of good stuff. All right, so we're going to keep moving on down. When I get a little bit further down here, I do like this point. See, 45 foot on the top. And then you've got a nice little break. You've also got some possible chunk rock or some kind of rock that's going on here as well. So definitely look in this area. And then as we move down here, I really like this point. This point comes way down and way out into the water. Top of it's about 12 feet. Up here, it's really shallow. It's like 6 feet. But down here, it's like 12 feet, 9, 10 feet, something like that. I really like it. It's got breaks on both sides. It just looks like a really, really good point. Then moving over here, same type thing. We've got a roadbed that comes out here, you can see. And you've got a nice little point that comes out here as well. And you see all these fish icons around it. And anytime it says a guide point, that means that's pretty good if guides are set in there. And then also over in here, you'll see where you can see this probably like a creek channel probably comes up along this side, because you've got some really good depth off this bank. So this bank could be a really good bank line to take a look at. And then also right here where that curve happens could be a good spot to look at as well. Moving back in here, didn't see too much back in here, but I did want to point out this little point here. These are always good spots to look at. Anytime you get in the back of the cove, or you're going into a cove and you've got creeks, and maybe the creek splits one way or it splits two ways, and you know the bass have to make a decision. They love to set up on that little transition area. So those are always good spots to look at. I would definitely look over here, and the fact that there's a fishing or diving spot icon there makes it even more interesting. You do see here it says some shad spawn going on, so that'd be interesting to take a look at to see if there's shad spawn going on in there. Got lots of different fish icons back in here, but I'm not seeing too many things from a contour perspective that would make me want to fish offshore or kind of point offshore spots to you. But right in here actually looks pretty good. So I'd imagine this creek channel probably comes up here and swings up. And so I put an icon there and I've marked it for you, and it says there's a steep ledge there as well. So when they say steep ledges, our ledges aren't huge ledges, but any type of a ledge is going to be good. And you've got that ledge and you've got that creek channel, which probably created that ledge there. So definitely go and take a look at that. Then as we get further down here, just a couple more things I want to show you. I really like this area right in here. So it's really shallow, and then it kind of makes a little point right in here. And you can kind of come along and you can see all this. You got the pond dam and everything. I would scan this whole area around in here, just all of it. And then also fish that pond dam too. All of that looks really good. I'm going to keep moving on down. I know this video is getting kind of long. We've also got a pond dam down here as well to take a look at. I've marked that for you guys. There's a road bed over there as well. So anywhere in this area could be good. This all looks like a really good fish attracting area. And then when you get down in here, now you get some craziness. You've got road beds, multiple road beds, multiple culverts, and a pond dam all together right here. This looks like a summertime honey hole. So definitely go and look at that. And then while you're there, scoot over here. See how the top of this comes out really shallow? And you kind of got a hump there. Take a look at all of this over in here where I've marked it, as well as this whole entire area. Just no telling where they're going to be, but I guarantee they're somewhere in that area. Over in here, you've also got a nice hump that's way out here in the middle of nowhere. Normally, I don't like fishing too much deeper than this. This is 20, 25 feet. But the reason why I marked this one is because you've got a road bed as well as a creek channel. And those two things combined together usually are good recipes for success. You've also got another island that's up here. The nice shallow flat top, goes to about 12 feet. It's 8 to 9 feet up here with a really nice drop off right in that area as well. Again, taking a look at all those pillars, you'll want to fish those. And then we've got a couple more points to show you down here. This one looks juicy, juicy, juicy. Nice flat top, good break off the edge of it. Definitely would want to look at that. I didn't mark this one, but you might want to look at this one too. That one could be the one that's not as obvious. You might pull up and you've got guides on both of these, but nobody's sitting here, and that's the one that's where all the fish have migrated to. So take a look at all three of those in that area. Also take a look at this submerged culvert back here as well. And then moving on down the lake, we've got probably about 10 more to go through real quick, and then we'll be finished. So right here, we've got another point that comes out, as well as an underwater road bed. So went ahead and marked that for you guys. I didn't mark this, but I probably should have. This one's got a really nice point that comes out here. It's got the flat top to it. It's a little bit deeper, but I would definitely scan around this area. I'm going to go ahead and mark that because I think it's worth fishing. All right, then moving on down here. Too much going on here, but see right here where this little creek bed comes in and comes off into the shallow area. Right in here could be a good area to take a look at. And then I would probably just follow that creek bed back and fish that submerged culvert as well and see if anything's there off that break. This area right here looks pretty interesting. It goes from 6 foot down to about 13 foot. So maybe take a look at that too, and then look at that pond dam while you're back there as well. You got another point that's out here with the drop off. And then as we get in here, you're going to want to fish both sides of this because you got a really nice drop off here as well as on this side. So kind of fish that little pinch point that you see in there as well. And then another point there. One of these were like where the pros were fishing. And then you've got another big point that comes out here, 9 foot on top, Nice drops off the side. Guys, you're going to have to scan these whole points to figure out where they are. It'll definitely be worth your time if you do find them. You got another point here as well. Another one there. I mean, they're just everywhere when you get down here. And then the final spot I want to share with you guys really is just this last point that's way out here in deep water. Could be a good place to look about right now, and that's this point that comes way out here. And also look around where you see this black dot where there's a pile that could be a brush pile, as well as these road beds that are right over here as well. So that really covers us for Zone 1 of Lake Fork. Don't forget, go out and get these waypoints for your graphs. You can either get the offshore hotspots only, or you can get all of them, the Google waypoints and the offshore hotspots, out there on simplisticfishing.square.site. So appreciate the support, guys. Make sure to hit that subscribe button. And until next time, I hope you catch your PB. Take care.